Welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange. Stories, tools, and wisdom shared by leaders for leaders to help you raise the bar on your own excellence and release the potential inside of you. Now, here's today's show. Welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange. This is the show that empowers leaders to thrive, not to just survive. Today, my guest is Nathan Waters. He's Walters, president of Mission Discovery. Nathan leads a global ministry that mobilizes churches, schools, families to be the hands and feet of Jesus. His personal journey from overcoming hardship to leading a movement of sustainable missions has shaped his vision for transformational service that changes both communities and volunteers. Nathan, we're so glad you're with us today. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, but also what drew you to this work and your personal story of transformation coming to this work.
Mm. Yeah, so I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I was born in '84, so I'm 40. I don't want to tell you my age. I'm about to be 41. But I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. Had two sisters. When I was young, we experienced some tragedy. We lost our mom, and that kind of has what happened in that moment was that year was a struggle financially for us. And what happened, our neighbor told her church that we were in need. And so that church ended up stepping up to the plate. And it was a small church, country church out in, we just lived outside of Richmond. And so they gave what little they had to us and to kind of step into our darkest moment of life, where we needed it the most. And I wasn't sure really, who God was, but I knew that whatever God that church followed, that's the God I wanted to be a part of. Little Baptist church. And so today, what that looks like for me is kind of come full circle, is that I get to take all these churches and go be that light to other communities around the world. And step into their darkness. So it is incredible how I got on this journey. It's only by God. We grew up with nothing, literally nothing. Travel was out of the question because travel costs money, as you know. And so I never thought I was going to leave Richmond, Virginia. I remember a Sunday school teacher asking me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And somebody in the class said, well, I want to be a missionary. And I thought, why would anybody want to leave Richmond, Virginia? It's like it was just so far out of my mind that you could travel and do things like that. And what ended up happening, the first opportunity I got to go on a mission trip was I was working for a college that I was going to. The college was paying my tuition because I was working for them, and this group was going to go to Guatemala. I couldn't go, but they ended up opening an opportunity for me to go to Uganda, and went on that trip. And you think you're going to serve. You think you're going because these people need me, and what you find out when you're there is that you need these people. And my life just kind of flipped in that moment. I realized God was calling me to missions. And then I got involved with Mission Discovery not long after that. So started full time here at Mission Discovery back in 2014, and now I'm fortunate that I get to kind of run the joint. So it's been a wild ride. It's a God thing for sure.
Well, you and I are both people of Christian faith.
Yep.
We work with people of all faiths, and we work with people from all walks of lives, and in the nonprofit world, we have this servant mentality. We serve others. So you and I had talked about that before we went live about, and having served churches for many years and been on many mission trips. The fundamental principle that I saw happen over and over, we go to do something for somebody else, but the value it brings us, the reciprocation of that, which is so unexpected many times, is huge. You want to talk about that? It's a transformational journey, isn't it?
It is, so our mission trips are generally a week long. Some of them are longer if they're take long, like Africa trips are longer because it just takes so long to get over there. But generally, this thing happens midweek. So the guy who started Mission Discovery started in 1991. So we've been around for a long time,
Hmm.
and he retired in 2018. And people would ask him, what do you miss most about Mission Discovery? And his answer was always Wednesdays. And people would look at him kind of confused. What do you mean Wednesdays? And that was the day that kind of the light bulb would come on for people, that people that got there on Sunday realized that this trip was a setup. You know, they thought they were coming to serve and to give, but they were getting so much more out of it. And their lives were being transformed during the week. It generally happened on Wednesdays. So that's what he said, Wednesdays.
You know, having them long enough but not too long is also a balance, people, thing. So, so you go to help other people. So talk about a little bit more about the transformational process. We go to focus on others, but it's a win-win on both sides, right?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I often say, so my first trip with Mission Discovery was to Tecate, Mexico, and I was going as a worship leader. So I wasn't really part of the team. I was going to kind of be a leader of in some sort. But when I went over there, we were building 8 homes that week for families in need. Of course, you're seeing poverty like you wouldn't believe just over the border of the U.S. and Mexico. And so you go over there and just the people, they're just like you and me, you know. There's something about the perspective that you gain. And when I was up on stage leading worship one night, it kind of just dawned on me, and I said it, and it was that, you came here because Takati needed you, but you're leaving because knowing that you need Takati. There's just something that awakens in you when you serve people, um, wherever you are. You could serve people in your neighborhood, but going and serving and doing and stepping out of your comfort zone and offering things when you have them and others need them, something awakens inside of you. And I'm sure everybody has that experience. How good does it feel to give somebody a gift when they're in the hospital? Or how good does it feel to go serve at your local, food bank? Or how good does it feel to see someone in need in the wintertime? They don't have a coat, you give them your coat. You know, um, Something inside of you comes alive when you say, you know what, this person is a child of God. I'm a child of God. They need something, and I'm going to step in and fill it.
It's very needed in today's world, isn't it?
With serving,
This whole paradigm of, working together, recognizing we're all God's creation, we're all human beings. It's, we're in a world where people are blaming each other for things, and, everybody that's blaming is guilty. So,
yeah,
what do we need? We need to talk to people and experience who they are, don't we?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think uh, putting yourself in someone else's shoes is a start of something inside of you. Yeah, I think it's needed for sure.
So, um, you were talking about some international trips, but you said domestic as well. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. We serve in the U.S.
So I live in Appalachia. There's a
Yeah.
lot of poor communities in Appalachia. So you have different kinds of projects. They're work projects basically, are they?
Yeah, most of them start as work projects. So our goal is to meet the physical and spiritual needs of the world's poor. And we work in Appalachia. We work in a town called Bluefield, West Virginia, and it is I don't believe it's far from you. But yeah, you see things that you can't believe, you're in the United States, In fact, when we used to have a camp, Mission Discovery used to have a camp in Westmoreland, Tennessee, and we would bring teams to serve there. And my memory of Westmoreland was that before I worked for Mission Discovery, I was a contractor, and I saw this, as Craigslist was around. Is Craigslist still around? I don't know, but I saw this ad on there, $40 for a DeWalt chop saw. I was like, I gotta have that. I'm gonna go out there. So it took an hour to get to. It's an hour away from Nashville to get this $40 chop saw. Go out there. It's in Westmoreland. It's down this road. And as I'm driving down the road, I'm looking beside me and I see people digging ditches on the side of the road just for miles. I'm like, what is going on? These are like normal everyday, just like you would see your neighbor digging a ditch or something. So I said, when I got to the house, I said, what's going on around here? I saw all these digging people. She said, the lady at the house said, yeah, we're getting running water. We're finally getting running water. This was like 2012 and an hour away from Nashville, you know? And so you're talking about communities that we wake up every day, we flip a sink on, and it's normal. These people have been going to the creek to bathe since they've been alive, and this was like 2012. It opens your eyes a little bit when you start to see things like that, and yeah, Appalachia, definitely there's a lot of poverty there for sure. But yeah, we'll do all kinds of stuff. We'll build. Uh, One story this past summer, there was a lady who hadn't been out of her house for like a year, more than a year, and the reason was is she had gotten diagnosed with cancer, and her porch was not set up for her to be able to leave the house. So she got in there and she couldn't leave. And so we rebuilt her porch, and now she's able to leave and go do things and get things. And she actually lives right across from the Nazarene church, so she'll go to church now. And it's just it's little things that you might have this in your community. People that need these little things, and you don't know what people need if you don't ask. And so you kind of just go around seeing what the needs are. A lot of times there's just issues that people have that they can't afford to fix with their home or with their whatever it is. I've seen houses that have been, people live in with holes in the roofs the size of that you wouldn't believe. Just water just comes right in the house, but they can't fix it. That they're a old widow that can't do anything about it. So our teams will come in and kind of help with that. But there's stuff like that all over the place.
So those are an instant fix or short-term fix. What's the
Mhm.
long-term value of that for those people and for the people that go on the trips?
Long-term value of those people on a domestic trip. So we always work with a local partner. So we partner with churches or organizations that are already doing work in the community. So our goal when we go into a community is I let people know, drop the name Mission Discovery. We're there as this or that church or this or that organization. And that way you're always pointing people back to the help that these people helped me before, they can help me again, whatever it is. Our goal is to build relationships with people and help people, build relationships with others in their community so that everybody can kind of help each other out. We're just kind of an extra arm, an extra force of volunteerism for a week, you know. But we keep these partnerships forever. We've got partners that have been with us since the beginning of Mission Discovery, Mexico, Jamaica. Those are partners that we've had since the beginning, and we'll keep, going and serving there.
That's a huge deal.
Mhm.
I, I've been working with churches, nonprofits, internally and externally for 40 years.
Yeah.
As some people call me a consultant, I really think I'm a catalyst for transformation. How do we find within us what we need to know, and then how do we make life better for everybody? So it takes sometimes somebody outside the organization to see it. But I'm looking at this whole continuum. What I know to be a fact is many churches, nonprofits don't understand what you just defined. And I would give it a name as collaboration. People
Mhm.
don't understand what that means or the value of what that means. So you're partnering with a local church or even a local charity who's already on the ground. And so how do you, this is a big deal for all of us in our work. I'm going to come back and talk about the impact to the organization, but how do we have that conversation? Because it's a win-win. That charity probably can't do what you do. You're adding to their value, but then you're adding ongoing value to the people in the community. So how do you introduce this idea? Maybe you don't even use that term collaboration. How do you introduce this idea? Because it's a great plan. It's a great process.
And then partnerships. How do we go about building our
You
partnerships
call it a
over there?
partnership. That's
Yeah.
good. It's
Hmm.
yeah, people don't
Yeah.
understand collaboration, but partnership is a good word.
You know, yeah, for us, I mean, you just talk to people. I mean, I feel like it's not difficult for us to have these conversations with other nonprofits. And if I were to like locate one area that I would see like there would be a difficult, if there was a difficult time collaborating or being a partner with somebody, I would say that the problem would be ego. I believe, I've come across this, people who may have had an organization for however long, and they kind of get, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but they look at their stats and they get caught up in all in the metrics and the stats and the this and that. We're doing this and we're doing that and we've got big and this, that, and the other. And so why would we need some little old, team of, 30 missionaries coming in here and helping? We already, and so that might be a problem. The thing is, though, with mission discovery, what we've found is like we're so fortunate to be part of this because I meet the best people in the world. People that work in the nonprofit space are generally very kind, very welcoming, very open to new ideas. Ego's not a thing for most people in the nonprofit world. We're looking at the world and we're seeing problems and we're trying to find solutions for those problems. And so they're the best people in the world. So I would say if there was something, it might be ego. I would say we don't run into that too often.
Probably because you put your ego aside.
Yeah.
But you've hit the nail on the head. That is a big problem. I call them blind spots. People don't
Mhm.
realize, they think, oh, we got it all together. They don't realize what the potential is. It's not that you're not doing well, it's that maybe you could do better if you
Yeah.
partner with somebody. So
Yeah.
I think it's a big deal. And you're right. In the study of the Enneagram, it's how does our ego lie to us? How does our ego put us in a place when, what is our soul? What is the heart of
Mhm.
our soul and our being telling us to do? So
Mhm.
I see you live in that area, not the ego area. So talk about organizations that go on these trips. I see a lot of decline in many mainline denominational churches. So, um, you know, what's the value? Yeah, let me follow that thought one more time. The value I see is that churches and community groups that were outwardly focused, they're serving others, are
Mhm.
the very groups that are thriving. The others
Mhm.
that are protecting their turf are the ones that are dying.
Mhm.
So so speak to, you've seen, if you don't have to give names, but some transformation that's happened in the group that actually took a trip. How did it benefit that organization in an ongoing way?
Goodness, I couldn't tell you the number of mission programs that have resulted from going on a mission discovery trip. But I talk to churches all the time where they went on some mission discovery trip to the Bahamas or to Jamaica or wherever it was, years and years ago, and they came back with a fire and went to their pastor and said, "Hey, we need to do more missions," which is exactly the goal of mission discovery. It starts on the field, but we want people to bring the idea home. We want people to go home and say, "What can we do in our own community that would be beneficial?" The I think it's Acts. Is it 1:8? It's go to Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Sometimes you got to go to the ends of the earth to bring back what you learned to your hometown, and so that's kind of like what we see, what we want to happen. And so there are tons and tons. I wish I had a number, but there's no way to track it of mission programs that have started from going on a mission discovery trip, whether it be a church mission program where they built out their whole mission strategy, or if it's a youth group that now wants to continue to go and go and go on these trips and serve their own communities. There is a long-term effect to the transformation that happens on a mission field.
A long-term effect. So, having been on many, you spoke about going to Uganda is one of the countries you've traveled to, right?
Yeah.
They have to go miles to get water in some places in Uganda.
Mhm.
Some places
Mhm.
not a problem, but some places it's a problem.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of issues. And I imagine there's some groups that go there with, we're Americans, we know how it ought to go. So
Mhm.
talk about how the perspective of the group going in doesn't come in as experts or any or
Mhm.
authorities or the great American saviors. Talk about the perspective that's really beneficial as we go on a trip to a place like that, even Appalachia. We don't want to
Mhm.
come in as, oh, we're going to fix you. We're going to come in as even help is kind of maybe maybe they don't think they need help, but it's a
Mhm.
partnership there too, isn't it?
Mhm. Right. Yeah, we have three things that we tell people that these are kind of like our three main pillars of a mission discovery trip, or us as a whole organization. Is number one, we go as learners. Number two, we go as servants, and we go as storytellers. So we go as learners. We're not going there because we know more than somebody.
Mhm.
There was a book that I read before ever even, I mean, this was long before I mean, maybe I'd gone to Uganda by this time, but it was called the Poisonwood Bible. I don't think it's a Christian, but it was about missionaries and you know, the idea of going in and trying to tell people how to do this or how to do that. And it's just not good. It's not a good partnership, not a good approach. Um, the we go as learners um, so as not to take over but to be a partner with people, servants because we want to, you know, help do the work, you know, we want to serve, we don't want to uh, be served, and then storytellers, we just want to go and share our stories, what God has done in our lives, and then we want to come back home and share what God did in our lives back on the field. So yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. So let me share your website with people, and
Sure.
I want you to tell people. Now, we have to describe this for people who are listening on the podcast
Sure.
because they can't see it. So I'm going to show it for people that are on the video. But give us the link. Where do they find you?
Yeah, it's easy. Missiondiscovery.org. Very easy.
So what do people find when they go there? And remember, we're talking to people that are just listening on the audio.
Yeah, when you go to the website, I mean, you're going to see mainly what the website's going to do is it's going to show you where we go, where we serve, and then how much it costs to serve there. So if you're bringing a group, a family, or you just want to go on a mission trip, you just search around, look for what is meaningful to you, pray about it. You'll fill out a little form there, and what'll happen is April here at the office will get in touch with you, and April is everybody's favorite person to talk to. So so you'll make best friends right away. Her goal is to just find a place that fits you and suits you well. So she'll find a place where you can go and serve, and like I said, just your life. We're looking for transformation here. So yeah,
This pretty much covers what you've covered in this interview. Is a very informative website. So it's missiondiscovery.org,
mission just yeah.
missiondiscovery.org, and you'll find it there. It'll also be on the page for this interview. And if you didn't get all these nuances, there's a transcript of this interview on the page as well. So Nathan, looking ahead, what are you excited about for the organization?
Goodness sakes. This year, so last year I got a call from our ministry partner down in Haiti. Now Haiti, as you can imagine, you just referenced Uganda. People walking for miles to get water in Uganda. When we entered Haiti, people were walking miles to get water there. We started planting churches and water stations and having medical clinics, and I mean just all the everything you could imagine was happening in Haiti. It was a great trip. It was a great work that we were a part of there. One of the ones that I was just most proud of because it was a real ground up, you know, pastors leading the way, and we are, you know, helping him brainstorm new ideas and making things happen. And then 2018 came when the riots started happening, and we couldn't go there anymore. Our last trip to Haiti was in 2019. We can't, you know, we can't go back there. It's unsafe for our people. It was in Port-au-Prince. It was where we were serving, one of the locations. So basically, we still continued to fund church plants. We still continued to fund the outreaches that were happening. We still continued to fund the schools that were going on that we had started. So all that's going on. And then I get a call last year, and the pastor's like, "Hey, I've got an idea for a feeding program. You know, he can't go to the main location for the church anymore, so he started opening his house to have church on Sunday mornings." 300 people started showing up. So then they started looking at, well, how do we feed these people? How do we get, you know, because these are people that don't have food, water, anything for the week. And so I want to start a feeding program, you know, whatever. So we started raising funds. We got this thing going. And this year, from January until December 31, so we haven't reached this number yet, but this is the calculation. We will have provided 373,000 meals for people in Haiti. And so that number blows me away because that all came from one phone call. And so, like, our simple yes in one moment has provided 373,000 meals for people. And we believe that these meals are not just food and water that we're giving them. We believe that they are God moments. We believe that these are moments when people who are at their darkest hour, needing food, needing a meal, are seeing God in a way that they didn't expect, maybe. And so we're excited about that. We're excited about what we're doing in Haiti. But it's those kinds of things that are just surprising us all the time. Um, I think we built 30 homes this year in Guatemala. We've done medical clinics. We're doing school. It's just our work continues to amplify and grow. And so next year, this year we took 1,300, more than 1,300 people on mission trips. Next year we're looking at 1,500, and we're just excited about what God's going to do through all these volunteers and in all these volunteers.
Well, it's evident that people can see that the impact of leadership from your organization, you and the team around you, is
Hmm.
profound, and it's just isn't a little weekend hobby. It's a major movement. So, Nathan,
Yeah,
thank you for sharing your vision and heart behind Mission Discovery. Your story reminds us that missions are not only about what we give, but also how God shapes us in the process. To our
amen.
listeners, if you want to learn more or explore opportunities to serve, visit missiondiscovery.org. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and transforming the world around you. Nathan, thanks again for being here.
Thanks, Hugh.
Thank you for watching The Nonprofit Exchange.